What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our Kratom Addiction and Recovery Daily Devotional series. So we're starting a new study today, and we're going to do one of my favorite books, which is Job. And today we're just going to go over a general overview of what this study is going to look like. And I'm super stoked to be doing this with you because I know I say this all the time about so many verses and so many books, but Job is truly one of my favorites. I read Job for the first time when I was probably about maybe close to a year into my recovery process, and it just resonated so deeply with me. The story of Job, just to kind of go over things generally and to talk about what you can expect in this study. The story of Job is this really cool telling of a man's trials that he went through, where he lost everything: his family, his livelihood, his health, and it was ultimately a test of his faith. And the book goes on where he loses everything. His friends come to see him, and a big part of the book is actually him like talking with his friends, and all of them kind of questioning him and asking him, well, you must have done something to deserve this, and different things that they ask him, and they're all having conversations about throughout a big part of the book, where they're just trying to figure out like what's going on and why this happened. And Job gets to a point where he hits a limit. His health is completely gone. He's lost his family. He's lost his livelihood. And throughout all of this too, he's not turning away from God. And there comes a point where he finally asks God, like, God, what is up? Like, why is this happening? Where are you? And then, which is why I love this book so much. Obviously, I love the story too, but then God explains to him and responds to him in this amazingly poetic way about who he is, who God is, and why he works the way that he works. And when I read this, I'm a songwriter. I also have written in different ways throughout my whole life, poetry, short stories. So I love words, and I always have. And poetry has this special spot in my heart. So when I read this poetic expression of who God is and how he works the way that he works and why he works the way that he works, I was just in love. And so that's one of the main reasons that I love Job is this. It goes on to, for I think about a chapter of just the most beautiful poetry. And so then that happens, and then at the end, spoiler alert, but we're just going to do a general overview, and then we're going to get into everything day by day as we go through this study. But at the end, Job, his health is restored, and he regains everything that he's lost and then some. So this book is super cool. And as with a lot of different things in the Word, we can look at these stories, we can look at these books, we can look at these chapters or these verses or these parables, and we can see how God worked before, and that can show us how God is going to work again. So it really illustrates who God is and his faithfulness. And there's a lot of wisdom in this book, and there's a lot of wisdom to gain from it. And so how does this apply to us, our recovery processes, our addictions? How this applies is that we're going to look at this book, and we're going to look at Job's challenges and the tests that he's going through. And we're going to look at the conversations that he has with his friends when they're questioning him about why this is happening, and you must have done something to get yourself into this. And we're going to look at the different elements of this story. We're going to look at God's response to Job. We're going to look at, even before that, how how Job deals with the challenges and the pressures of this test that he's being put through. And we're going to relate that to our personal struggles and our personal tests as we're in our kratom addiction and recovery process. And though they're not identical, there's still a lot of wisdom that we can gain from looking at Job and looking at the story of his challenges and the tests that he went through, how he dealt with it, what God's response was. And then we're going to look at, to wrap it up at the end, which will be a really awesome thing too, is we're going to look at how Job regained everything that he lost and then some. And we're going to also apply that to how our own situations look in our recovery and our addiction processes. And so, yes, it's not exactly the same thing that we're going through, that Job is going through, but there's a lot of similarities. A lot of us lose so many things to our addiction. A lot of us lose some family members or our families as a whole. A lot of us lose our livelihood through, it affecting our jobs and our career paths and our ability to earn a living. We lose the money that we spend on the actual kratom itself. We also lose our health, a lot of us. So this can be very relevant when we look at Job's situation as compared to ours. And the beauty of this book that I love so much is that there's this awesome ending where all that was lost, whether it be family, livelihood, health, was regained and then some. And then it illustrates, how this test that Job was going through, and also this test that we're going through in our kratom addiction and recovery process, that there is often a beautiful ending to our story as well. So I think it's going to be really cool to read this book and break it down. We're not going to read every single verse and every single chapter. We're just going to draw from key points throughout the book, and we'll spend a day or two, depending on the depth of the topic that we're going to be learning about together, exploring it. So I'm not really sure how long this study is going to take, but it's probably looking like at this point, maybe a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks or so. So I think it's going to be really cool to break this down together day by day. So that's what you can expect in this study coming up over the next couple to 3 weeks. And I'm super stoked to be doing this with you guys. As always, let us know how you're doing in the comment section below if you want to. And know that we're here, know that this community is here and is growing. And there's a lot of amazing people who are going through what you're going through or have been through it before, who love to encourage and uplift, myself included. So you're welcome to let us know in the comment section below if you'd like any encouragement, prayer, anything like that. So, all right, guys, I look forward to doing this with you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.